Good evening, Scott. How you doing, pal?
Good evening, mate. How are you?
I'm very good, thanks. As you well know, I'm getting over a cold, so I might be a bit Barry White tonight, but I think it
Oh,
sounds all right. And you're doing all the work tonight anyway, so I guess it's easy. But really, really great to have you back, pal. Obviously, we
no,
it's
it's
not,
great to be
not it's
up.
not the first time that we've had you involved with us. You very kindly did a webinar for us earlier this year, and we've made some film with you, which is going to be launched very, very soon. And what's great as well is that we're going to follow that through with some filming now in the next couple of weeks, going right through the album design process along with Fundy, based on the actual wedding that we shot with you. So I'm really looking forward
Yeah,
to
I'm looking forward to coming over to Barry. I think Ali and myself are coming across week after next, and yeah, we're just going to be doing some video of me using Fundy, and it's finishing off the wedding that you guys came and filmed with me. And oh my God, there's me on a gondola.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's just a nice just to kind of finish it all up and finish the story from start to finish, from conception to delivery.
yeah, it was perfect timing that we'd had shot this wedding with you and obviously wanted to do more with you, and then obviously getting involved with Fundy, and it was a great way to sort of round off the project, so sort of start to finish. So we got a nice little interview about the wedding with you when you're here, and then
Yeah.
obviously finish that off with the album design as well. It'll be a fantastic series. So I'm looking forward to that. That'd be really good. And yes, obviously this is yourself kicking back, as they say, on the actual job, mate.
On the
On
job,
the
yeah.
job, I
This was
love
the
it.
engagement shoot we shot in Venice 2 weeks ago. It was brilliant fun. People ask me what am I wearing on my feet. The answer is the most comfortable shoes in the world.
Oh, I've seen these things. They're like foot socks or something, aren't they? Padding.
Honestly, mate, they're incredible.
Excellent. Love it. Love it. Obviously, guys, Scott does want you to interact with him tonight. So as you can see there are the links there. And of course, I'll be sharing these all with you. So obviously, Scott has his own dedicated training page there on his website. And of course, we've got Facebook and Instagram that you can interact there with Scott. Scott, just before I do hand you the screen and we get going, there was a video element that was going to be part of tonight's presentation, but obviously we've tested it and it wasn't very good on the webinar, so we do apologize. So I believe we're going to post it on your private Facebook page, and then we're going to tell
Yeah,
them how to
basically,
find it.
I had two videos, one of which I took at the Graphic Studio Factory last year, which I showed to my clients. We'll get into that in a bit, but we tested it and it wasn't working as well as I'd like it to have done. So we are going to be posting it on my Facebook group. So at some point at the end of the presentation, I'll give you the address for that, and you can come on and have a look at the video that I made of the albums being produced.
Perfect. Brilliant. Scott, I'm going to give you the screen. I'll make sure we can see it clearly and hear you clearly before we start the presentation, but it's going to come over to you now. And guys, just to reiterate, while I send this over to Scott, please interact with us tonight. So any questions that you have for him, please pop it through the question panel. And of course, if anything you have for Fundy, then also pop that in the question panel, and Ali will be answering your questions there. So I can see that you're just getting it full screen ready for us, pal. I can see it nice and clearly. I can hear you nice and clearly. So I'm going to go muted, and I'll just interrupt with questions, and feel free to stop me at any point and ask me if there are any questions for you, Scott.
No worries. Thanks, Jay. Well, I just want to, again, thanks to the Photographer Academy for having me back. I'm really, really passionate about prints and wedding album. And when the guys over at Fundy Designer asked me if I was willing to do something, I was like, yeah, absolutely. We need to be pushing prints out. We need to be pushing wedding albums out. And my business model changed about 3 years ago. And this is about how I've just changed, and I'm making more money, which is what we're all here for. You know, my goal has always been to do a little bit less for a little bit more. And the best way I found from that is by offering wedding albums and offering upsells and upgrades. And I'm just going to be giving a little bit of advice. Now, what we'll go through tonight, it works very well for me. It might not work for everybody, but if I can give any of you one little bit of nugget of information, you're going to think, oh yeah, that's actually quite great. Then it was worth me spending an hour and 3 or 4 days getting this keynote put together. So hopefully, you know, you'll get something from tonight. But as Jay said, any questions going forward, please just ask me. So I'm obviously, I don't, many people might know, I do wedding photography, and we shoot about 50 weddings a year here over in Essex, which is a lot, but I'm happy doing it. So I've got no complaints there. So how do we get our couples and our clients into wedding albums? Wedding albums is something that I have designed and offered right from day one, from conception of the Edge photography in 2006. We have always offered a wedding album, and at the start we were about 50-50 between wedding albums and USBs, and I'm really happy that 2018 will be the first year we will be 100% wedding albums. We will not be offering a USB coverage. We haven't offered it for about 18 months, but obviously, you know, the way the weddings bookings come through, it takes a while for it to filter out. So next year, 2018, will be the first year we are 100% wedding albums. So how do we get people? What's the best way to start with wedding albums? First things first, guys, you need to have great sample albums. This is absolutely crucial. This is the first port of call that people will see you and your work, whether it be at a trade show or they come round to your studio, or back in the days when I was going out before I had the showroom here, I'd be going out every night with a suitcase full of wedding albums just to show people what I could do. And if you're kind of getting out wedding albums that are tatty and have got frayed edges and fingerprints all over it, it's just a reflection of you and your work, and this is how you're going to portray yourself. So you need to get some really great sample albums. And obviously, I don't know about you guys, but my style is forever changing. I have a defined style, but there's always something I think, oh, just try this wedding, and something might work and something might not work. So it's about keeping current photography into your wedding albums as well. And it's so important to have nice sample albums. Graphic Studio, who do all my albums, offer a constant 30% discount on their sample books, and if you're really lucky, sometimes they give a 50% discount, 50% off sample albums. So keep an eye out for that, and just fill your boots. It's really easy. If you've already got an album that you shot in the summer, and you think that'll make a great sample album, and you see this offer of half price come up, go into the trade area, click onto the order that you want to reprint. There'll be a little button there that says reprint sample 50% off. Click it and it's done. It's the easiest thing in the world, and you get it half price, and it's a great way of keeping things nice and fresh. So as I said, great sample albums are absolutely key. So this is my bookshelf in the showroom behind me. I've turned the webcam off because I've not had a show today, so no one wants to see that. So this is where all my sample albums are, and they're all to hand. And as you can see here, we have different shapes, different sizes. We offer different papers. Everything about the sample album is different. And what we have here are our key wedding venues. So wedding venues we shoot a lot at, we have sample albums we keep updated in here, because there's nothing worse than kind of a bride and groom coming in and saying, oh, have you got a sample album from Maiden's Barn? You go, yeah, you know what, I haven't, but here's one from Lee's Priory. They don't want to see Lee's Priory, they're not getting married there. So it's really crucial you keep as many of your local venues in as possible, in different shapes and sizes, to show the couples the vast range of wedding albums. Thankfully, the days of the generic wedding album are long gone. The days of having a burgundy wedding album with gold writing with your wedding on the front are history, and hallelujah for that. So this is key. So this gets updated probably every year. We keep everything up. So what you want to do, my advice, a few people have said it to me in the past, I've taken their advice, is you want something really big and really bold to grab people's attention at trade shows and when they see you at wedding fairs and trade shows and when they come into the office. I used to have a really bright red leather album, but I dropped it at a trade show, funny enough, and it's in pieces. So that got binned. So I've literally just ordered this. And you're probably thinking, oh my God, what on earth is that? And that's exactly the reaction I want. I want this on my stand to grab people's attention from right across the hall, to look over and think, what on earth is that? It will bring them in nice and close, and they'll see it and think that is the most hideous wedding album I've ever seen in my life. I went, yes, you are quite right. But these ones here are absolutely beautiful. So what it's doing is drawing people in. And you're kind of, this could be a dummy book. There will be images that go into here, but this will be a, you know, just the flycatcher. This is the net I'm going to use at my trade shows in 2018. Big and bright. This is exactly what you want to grab people's attention, and then to showcase the ones you really want to sell. It's the exact opposite from what we take to do at a print competition. We want you biggest and brightest. So just go crazy, guys, and get something that's going to stand out from everybody else, and that's going to show attention onto your work. This is why goalkeepers wear bright coloured tops, is because your eye is naturally drawn to the brightest object. And if you've got a bright wedding album in the middle of these dull greys and browns, you're going to stand out, and that's where you want people to be. Secret to me, I'm passionate about wedding books. I'm passionate about printed products. This is something that I started my career in photography in 1998 in a professional laboratory here in Essex. And I was printing, hand print. So I've been in print from day one, and which is why I always offer wedding albums. It's why I will always offer wedding albums. And it's something that we need to get across to our couples, that these are not generic albums anymore. These are works of art. They are individually handmade in Italy with the love and passion of the guys at Graphic Studio. And you have to go. I've been very fortunate to be out to the factory twice actually, and see the production firsthand. It's incredible. This is the point where I would have put the video in, but unfortunately the internet here in Essex isn't that fantastic at the minute. So it's going to be going on my Facebook group. So just check the link out at the end of the presentation. But Graphi do have a YouTube channel, which is great, and they have all the new products on there, and you can see all their promotional videos, so you can show your clients them. Now I like to create a buzz here in the studio, so people buy into my passion. They will buy into exactly the reasons why I am offering these amazing wedding albums and not just doing a USB. This is the absolutely quintessential part of the keynote I'm going to give you now. It's an investment. They are investing. Obviously it is an expense, but they are investing in their wedding day. Once everything is said and gone, once the dress has been hung up, once the cake has been eaten, once the bouquet has been thrown, the only thing left is the wedding album. And it is really, really important that we present our images in this book that will last forever, absolutely forever. What I don't call them is packages. I used to call them packages. A package is what USB, it's what UPS send across the world, and what you book a holiday at Thomas Cook, that's a package. I use album collections is what I use here. I think it puts great importance on the product by calling it a collection, and also the very word collection means that there is more than one. I shoot a lot of pre-wedding shoots. I shoot a lot of engagement shoots and post-wedding shoots as well. So once the wedding's been and gone, I have taken brides to weird and wonderful locations, and I have given albums as part of that coverage too. So the idea of having a collection opens the door to, this isn't just the only one. You can have some more. How about some parents' books? How about an album from your engagement shoot? How about we do a nice frame to go on the wall? So it's a collection of images from the wedding day. So that's really, really important for me to use those words from there. Also, how I sell my albums to my couples is exactly this. Photographers, we have the ability to freeze a moment in time forever. These wedding albums are time capsules. They will last forever. Graphic Studio offer a lifetime guarantee on the binding of the books. And I say this to every one of my clients. My parents got married in 1976. If you go up to the loft and pull their wedding album out, all the pages just fall on the floor. And that's what people still think happens to wedding albums. It does not. We need to educate people and educate our couples to say these wedding albums will last forever, and they'll be passed down from generation to generation. And it's so important that we capture everything on the wedding day and create the story of our loved ones and our memories that are going to last forever in this beautiful book that we're going to give. This was mentioned. I was very fortunate to go and see Yvan last week in London, and my good friend Jeremy Price from Graphi mentioned this. The wedding album is the only part of the wedding day that will increase in value. Once people start to pass on and move on, they're there forever in the wedding album, and they're cherished forever. This is how much money would you spend to have one more day with a loved one that's just passed away? This is so important, and this is how I'm selling my albums. I'm selling these albums to my couples that come in, and not playing on their emotions, but just making aware that, look, you know, my wife works with dementia patients, and they have no memories, but when their loved one brings in their wedding album, you can see their face just light up. And I'm like, this is what we've got to do. We have got to offer this to everyone that comes in, and this is why a printed product and a wedding album is so important. We had a wedding pickup here last week, and the bride and groom came in, they picked the wedding album up, and she's turning the pages of the book and she's loving it. She turns to a page and she just breaks down. She just starts to cry, thinking, oh my God, I've made a mistake, something's gone wrong. I said, are you okay? She said, yeah, my granddad passed away last week, and I'm just so pleased. He was at the wedding day and he's here in the album, we've got him. I'm like, yep, he's there forever. And that is so important. We do not get that with a USB, which is why wedding books are so important. And as I mentioned, we are storytellers. We're employed by the bride and groom because they like our photography and they like the way that we tell the story of their wedding day. Every photographer here listening right now around the world is a different type of photographer, but we all tell the same story in a different way. We have to present that in a book. And again, I'm going on about the legacy and everything, but this is how I sell the albums to all my clients. We're going to tell stories of the happiest day of your life and place it in an album that will last forever. That's it. That's what we do. We'll be photographing the first time you dance with your dad on your wedding day. We'll be photographing your sister, when she met her future husband, and we'll be photographing that grandparent that will pass away in 3 years. That's what we do. We tell the story of the day. This would be lost on a USB. Absolutely lost on a USB. People, we owe it to photography. I'm trying to jump ahead of myself, but I'm so passionate about all of this. We owe it to photography to provide wedding books and not USBs. I have USBs lying around here. This is, you know, we have everyone listening now. We have what we call a crap drawer in the house, right? And we have pens that don't work. We have keys for doors that we haven't got anymore. We've got locks without a key, and in there's a couple of USBs. I don't know what's on them, and they're just in this drawer. A wedding album, you know exactly where it's going to be. We had a bride that came through last year that initially had a USB only coverage. We did the wedding, it was in December, and we sent away just a USB. That's all she wanted. She emailed me back and she said, you know what, we're not very happy with the quality of the images. I'm thinking that's a bit odd. I said, okay, send some of the prints through, and they were awful. They were printed in the high street and they were absolutely awful. And she was showing these to her friends, and it was just like, this is how people think I take pictures, and it's not true. So we gave her a book for free. We did a book from Graphy, and she was over the moon. She said, this is exactly what we wanted, and this is what we offered. We are the most photographed generation ever, and we have nothing to show for it. A very good friend of mine, again last week, Mr. Martin Baines, he's probably listening, so hello Martin if you are listening, said that his son is on Snapchat and he's taken 20,000 images this year alone, and they've vanished. They've gone. You know, it's crazy to think. You know, the old days when I was his age, we'd take a film down to Jessett's and we'd drop the film off, and you'd get the prints back and you go through the prints, and it was just amazing. And you'd see this all come to life. And we need to get this into people's heads again, that everything doesn't have to be instant. We have to offer wedding albums. Initial investment. These are the two biggest words I'm going to say to you today that is going to open the mind and open everything up. The initial investment. Initial implies they are going to spend more money. Spent money is forgotten money. Remember that. That is really, really important. A lot of my couples come in here and they're booking me 18 months, 2 years in advance, and they're paying the balance before the wedding day. And they've forgotten about that. They've forgotten about the money they've spent on me. So by the time it comes back into when I get into my sales pitch, and they're spending another 500, 600 pounds after the wedding day, they've forgotten they spent 2,000, because that's gone. That's been and gone. But I'll get into that. Very, very shortly. So initial investment, that's where you want to be, implying when you're sitting down with your couples. This is how you know, you'll end up spending more money because we're going to take so many amazing photographs of you. You have a hard job getting down to the numbers that we're going to give you. So this is how my current pricing works. So at the minute, we photograph all day from the bride prep until just after the first dance. So we say, like, we shot a wedding yesterday, had the first dance at 7:30. There were fireworks at 8:15. We stayed for the fireworks, and we're not going to not stay for the fireworks. They spent a fortune on these, and it will sell us a couple more spreads at the end of the day. So we stay for that. So we offer 80 images over 20 spreads, which does seem like a lot. But when in the grand scheme of things, when us as photographers are taking 1,000 pictures on a wedding day, 2,000. Yvan last week was telling me he took 5,000, which is amazing. I'll have blisters on my finger just taking 1,000, so I can't imagine what state his fingers are in taking 5,000 images a wedding. But no, that's everyone shoots differently, which is amazing. So what we try and do is we try and get down to about between 600 and 800 images. There are 2 of us on the wedding day, and that's what we upload onto Zenfolio for. That's what we upload to Zenfolio, and it's their job to know if they want to pick 80 images and 20 spreads. This is the secret, and well, it's not really a secret, but this is how, again, right from the word go, on the initial meeting, when they're first coming in cold off the street, and we're saying to them, look, this is what we offer you, but we will probably most definitely give you a bigger wedding album right from the word go. So we're already planting the seed that they're going to be getting something bigger than what they initially think they're going to be getting. I always tell them I'll design more, and most likely they'll find it hard to pick 80 images. If you've got 800, that's 10%. You know, they're going to want to put loads in. Their wedding day was the most important day of their life. They can't restrict to 80 images. Some brides do. Some brides get to 80 and they come in, we do a pre-design, it's 20 spreads and it goes out and it's done. So that kind of works from there. But I tell all my couples that come in that the average book leaves here with between 25 and 30 spreads. So already they're kind of knowing that they're going to be getting a lot more than what they're initially paying for. Most importantly, here in the showroom, the bookshelf behind me, which I showed you on the first slide, every one of my albums has more than 20 spreads in. So when they're flicking through, or I'm showing the wedding albums, they're flicking through and they are subconsciously going through a bigger, well, they're not subconsciously, they are going through a bigger book than what they think they're getting, but they've already got this in their head that this is a big book. This is a nice weight to the book. This is a really good thickness to the book. I do have a wedding album here that has 20 spreads of 80 images in. It's small, it's tiny. We don't want to sell that one. Brides and grooms will buy what they see. It's fact. They will just come in. If I just did one album, they would buy that one. There's no 2 ways about it. It's so I show what I want to sell. So I'm showing 35 by 25 young books with between 25 and 30 spreads in. So couples are getting educated. Educated is a very patronizing word, I'm aware of that, but it's this, we're subtly selling to them a bigger book. Bigger is better, bigger is better, bigger is better. Where was I? Oh yeah, so sorry. The other thing that we do, obviously we've been photographing for 12 years, so we do a lot of recommendations. So we've done friends and family and bridesmaids of past brides, and so they'll come in after the wedding day and they'll say, so what did Dan and Rosie have? Because it's a competition. People don't generally want to have less than what their friends have got. So you can be honest and say they had this one, or you can say, well, they had this one, but we've got this new wedding album that's coming now, which is slightly bigger. So again, you're kind of soft selling the upgrade right from the word go. And friends will never like to be outdone by their other friends. So it's really handy when you've done a lot of friends. You get in a social group and you've done 5 or 6 weddings from the same group, and they're all trying to outdo each other and have a bigger album, more spreads, more wall art. And I'm thinking, yeah, this is great. This is fantastic. It's a competition, and I'm the only one that's winning. This is cool. So it's just so. Playing on friends is a really good way of kind of upgrading and upselling. So once the wedding is all said and done, we've got back and we've photographed, we've edited down to, as I said, between 600 and 800 images. What we are doing is, do we let them choose their images? I'm sure a lot of you out there are letting their bride and grooms choose their wedding images, which, hands up, it's exactly the way I started doing it and have done it up until about 18 months ago, 12 months ago. It's their wedding. End of story. There's no matter what we think about photography or how many amazing shots we think we've got, they're going to want the ones of their, you know, the group shots are going to make the album. They're going to want the ones that their mum says they should have. It's their wedding album. They can have it whichever way they like. But don't forget, this is the only thing that they're going to be showing off to their friends from our photography. So we want to make sure we get it right. So in the early days when I used to let them choose their images, I would maybe have a few suggestions and say, well, maybe this one is good, but this one's better. And I go, oh yeah, okay, we didn't think about that. So you're just trying to, again, educate them to putting better images into their wedding book. So this is, you know, it works. It works for me. But the other thing that I kind of had a bit of an epiphany about 12 months ago is that all the wedding albums here in the showroom have been designed by me. Not one bride has had a wedding album that's the same as what I've got here, because again, I'm selling what I want to show. I'm selling one spread of group shots, maybe two. I'm selling wow images. I'm selling just, you know, everything is exactly the way I want it to shoot, because that's the way I want to shoot. I don't want to be standing there shooting 45, 50 minutes of group shots. So I'm showing what I want to shoot. And if couples chose, as I said earlier, they would be choosing the wrong images. They'd be choosing the ones that don't look great. And we want them to be proud of their wedding album. So they'll be picking too many group shots, too many images that don't match. I'll put my teeth in and start again. Disrupt the flow of the album. And as I said, this is the biggest selling tool long after the couples have left the studio. Every one of my albums leaves here with my logo on the back spread. That's really important, because people will get through the wedding album and they go, that's great, who shot that? They'll be like, oh, I don't know. The wedding was 6 years ago. We don't remember. I'm hoping they're going to remember me. But as a calling card, we put a logo on the back of every single wedding album. So no matter if they've forgotten, and 10 years after the wedding itself, couples know it was us. It was the Edge Photography shot that wedding. Another reason why we don't let couples choose their wedding album images anymore is because I think it's quite old-fashioned, an old-fashioned way of doing things. I'm showing my age now, but when I started back in 1998 working in the Pro Lab here in Essex, I used to go in on a Saturday and do a Devon proofback. Hands up, who remembers Devon proofbacks? No, exactly. So it's just something that is so old-fashioned. What we would do, I'd go in at midday, turn the developing tanks on, and we would wait for photographers to come in with their rolls of film of 120 and 220, and I would develop wedding images about an hour after they were taken. We'd go through and we'd proof the images. We'd spend an hour, 2 hours in the dark room loading these racks of film. Racks of film would come out, and I would proof wedding images. So we had the big line go through, big white bit of tape at the bottom of the neg carrier, and we'd sit there and we'd write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the photographer would take these back to the reception, 1, to sell to Nan and Mum and Auntie Jean, and 2, to give the couple their proof book. Who does proof books anymore? No, I don't do proof books. I used to do proof books. They're too expensive, they take too long, and people end up losing 3 or 4 pages and they end up missing all the pictures. So we don't do that anymore. And it's an old-fashioned way of doing things, much like, I think personally, letting couples choose their own images. As I said, it's their wedding day. If they want to choose their images, absolutely fine. I'm not going to stop them. I will just advise them that I think I can do a better job of picking their wedding album than what they can, because everything they've seen here has been designed by me, and that's what they've seen. They've seen other people's weddings through my eyes. This was the really big Jerry Gionis quote, that couples book and trust photographers to take the pictures of their wedding day. Just trust them that one bit further and let us design the book for you, because we will do a better job than you. So yeah, and the other thing, they'll take forever. I've got couples that I've never heard from in the early days because they were taking forever. This is, you know, most couples haven't got time. They're busy people. They'll have a week off before the wedding. They'll get married. They'll go away on honeymoon. They'll then go back to work. So 3 weeks of stuff that they haven't done, it will take them a month to get through that. And before they know it, they've had 3 months. They've gone, right, let's sit down and go through the wedding pictures. She turns around and he's watching the football. Oh, we'll do it tomorrow night. I can't be bothered to do that tonight. Let's go out for pizza. Let's go and get a curry. Let's go to the cinema. So I found that doing it where couples would choose their own pictures was taking forever. The last thing that we need as photographers, times are tough enough as it is for a bride 6 months after the wedding day, 4, 6 months, 12 months even, out with a bridesmaid who lives in York. We photographed in Essex, and it's the first time that they've seen each other since the wedding day. The bride says, oh, I'd love to see your wedding album. The bride goes, we haven't got it yet. And she's not going to say it was them dragging their heels. The bridesmaid's going to assume that it's us, the photographers, that are taking forever. And we don't need that bad press. We want to make sure the books go out really, really quickly. We want to make sure that everything goes out exactly when it says it's going out. We quote no more than 10 weeks after the wedding day for getting the wedding album to our couples. I shot a wedding in 2007. This is gospel truth, as true as I'm sitting here now, in 2007, and the couple, I see them on regularly, and every time I see them, they're like, oh yeah, you know, we're definitely gonna sit down and do it this weekend. I just go, no, you're not. I'm honest, I'm brutally honest. I said, I'll design a wedding album for you. No, we'll do it. So I've designed them a wedding album. They've seen the wedding album, and I'm still waiting for them to come back in. So they're just a nightmare. So you can't win them all. You can't win them all. But it's our job to turn these books around really quickly. The way I found doing that, which was my big epiphany moment, which would have been about 18 months ago, was pre-designing. Pre-designing wedding albums has been the biggest change to the business in the last 2 years. It's been amazing. I flirted with the idea back in 2000, or 3 years ago. Didn't really commit myself fully to doing it. So I went back to the old way because it got really, really busy and I ran out of time to do the pre-designs and just didn't have time to do it. But we are pre-designing 95% of our books now. Couples have gotten their images faster. The images are better, and it takes the stress away from the couple in spending, let's be honest, half a day, 3 evenings a week, going through on an iPad or on a screen, going through the proofing system. And it's just, you know, we do it better than what they can do it. It also gives me a chance to design the wedding album the way that I think and how the images are working best. So what we try and do is we say, you know, they still get the final say. They absolutely get the final say, and we do proof. We'll get onto proofing in a minute. So it's also a good way to upsell, because again, we've told them right from the initial meeting, I will be designing you more spreads than what you think. So I will always design 30, 25 spreads, 35 spreads. I have to pant, my dog's just walked up into the office. Rodney, go away. Sorry about that. He's quite a heavy breather. So this is, this is something that we do, and the couples know that they are going to get something that is going to look amazing. And the best way that I've found doing a pre-design is shooting for the wedding album. Shoot for the album. Guys, this is going to change your life. The day I started photographing for the wedding album was like, oh my God, I've taken half the amount of photographs and they're twice as better, but twice as good, because I'm just more concise. I just stopped spraying and praying. I didn't have to go bang, bang, bang and photograph everything. Obviously, you still need to get the main shots. I'm not saying go to a wedding and shoot 100 images because you're only going to put 80 in the wedding album. You still got to go and shoot because people still want a lot of images. But think about the wedding album when you're taking the pictures. Detail shots, 2, 3. Think shoes. Think perfume. Think earrings. When you get the guy's house, think cufflinks, socks. You might have a brand new pair of shoes. She might have got him a watch as a wedding present. So just think, okay, I can do a nice half a spread on the left hand side of that. I can do 2 headshots of him, and then that's 1 spread. I can do him and the boys, a double page spread, that's that done. I'll do a few more anyway because we've got some eyes open or we've got some blinks that are looking away. So that's the way you want to start thinking. I see things in spreads. I see the wedding day in spreads, and I'm designing the wedding album when I'm taking the pictures. So when I get back and do the pre-design, it flows. It's so much more natural a way of doing it. And the really good thing about with Fundy Software is we can do that in 20 minutes. We can pre-design a wedding album in 20 minutes. My record's about 7. They had a small wedding anyway, but that was about 7 minutes. But 20 minutes is a really good average on getting a spread done. It's just incredible. What I also found is only offering one type of album. When I say type, I mean orientation. I used to do upright squares and landscape wedding albums, and that was very difficult trying to get my head around photographing for the product. So now we just offer landscape albums. That's all we do, and it's just my brain is now geared to photograph in a landscape album. Any questions, Chad? We have a sip of water. Any questions so far, mate? Or are we good to crack on?
No, we have got questions, but they've been very much general and why I've hung on to them rather than anything specifically. But there's been a million questions, mate. Yeah, so don't get too excited. We are going to be here for a little bit.
Cool. That's fine. That's cool.
But obviously, I'm aware that I think you're going to show off your workflow a little bit. So what I'll do is I'm sort of working the questions out in the order we should ask them. Really. Nice. You crack on. Okay. I've got them ready for you when you.
No worries. I'm all hydrated, so I'm good to go. So, as I mentioned, we want to be photographing a nicely balanced album. So couples that come into the studio will see a nice balanced book. They'll see details. They'll see group shots. We still shoot group shots because we can't get away from it. We still shoot group shots, and they'll have a nice balanced album with a mixture of necessary shots and the wow stuff. We want to sell the wow because it's the wow that people are going to want to put up on the wall. As I mentioned, we always proof the albums, always. Even on a pre-design, we still proof books because, as I said before, it is the couple's wedding day. It's their wedding album. It's not, if they want to change something, they can change it. It's awesome. Even with pre-designing, I know some of the bigger photographers will just send the album straight to print. Doesn't work for me. I still believe that couples need to have a say in the final say, and also in our terms and conditions on the proofing site, it does say that once the album has been approved, any changes are chargeable at a reprint cost of £500 because they've approved it. They've agreed that everything's fine online. So once it comes back, if there's a mistake, obviously, or a mark, which is very, very, very rare, we get that done. It's not a problem. But if they want to say, oh, you know what? Can we change that print over? I'm like, yeah, but it's going to cost you some money because you've approved it. So that's really important. I use Fundy album proofer, which it comes free with. It comes with the pro enhancements with the Fundy designer, which I think is worth every penny. For that alone, it's worth every penny. Especially the skin soft is really good, but for me the proof is great. I used to use another company for my album online proofing, but when you upload revisions, it would overwrite the previous album, which for me is no good. I've had a couple of really fussy couples that we've all got them right, so that wanted to go back and forward with changes. So what we do is we offer the first round of changes free of charge. So if we do a pre-design and they want to change it, that's fine. That's not a problem. Again, Fundy, 20-25 minutes, it's been redesigned, and generally they go away happy. Every change after this first initial round.
Sorry to interrupt. We seem to get
sorry, man.
A bit of feedback. We are something gone a bit robotic on us. Have you changed anything your end? Oh, hang on. Let's see you there. Are you there, bud? Can you hear me?
I am. I'm dialing in. I'm dialing in on ISDN. So
no, we've got you. We can hear you loud and clear. So we're still seeing your screen fine via the internet. Perfect. But obviously we've got your sound now via the phone. So sorry about that, but at least we can hear you nice and clear.
Yeah. Sorry, apologies for the connection. I have to put 50p in the meter when I get back downstairs. Apologies for that. So yeah, as I said, we always proof. We always proof the albums. This is something that we think is very, very important. As I said, with the Fundy online proofer, what it does is it keeps previous versions of the wedding album. So if you've got a particularly fussy couple, what you can do, can we go back to the spread we had 5 changes ago? You're like, yep, okay, it's all there, it's all connected. It's absolutely fantastic. It's worth every penny. So this is the online proofer. This is absolutely brilliant. So what it does, it shows digital versions of the layout. So it's exactly how it's going to print. So even you can see in the center of the spread a very faint silver line, and this is the center. So we're aware if we're going to be cutting through anything. And what's really important, I think, on this is if you look at the bottom right, it says approved pages. So straight away, the couples are going online and they're thinking, yep, I like that, and they're approving it. They're not seeing a comment box next to it, which I think is really, really important. If all they're seeing is a comment box, they're going to write in it. It's as simple as that. If they see it, they're going to write in it. So what we do is this is a faster way of proofing it round as well. This is absolutely blinding. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to scroll through this particular wedding album and give you the mindset. This was a wedding we shot back late summer, and we pre-designed it. So this is the first spread. So I keep my spreads really, really clean, really fresh. This is about as busy as a spread gets for me. We don't go too crazy by putting like 80, 90 images on a spread, because you're going to turn the page and your eyes are going to go, oh my God, where do I look first? So we want the eyes to go exactly where we want to see. And this is what we tell our clients. There will be white spaces, but they're there for a reason. You want your images to breathe. I used to do dark backgrounds, but I just found it looked cleaner with a white backdrop. So that's where we started doing that. So you can see I'm just kind of going through, just detailing the shots, just detailing everything that's coming through. We have 2 photographers that go out. So again, Karen that works with me, she's been drilled, beaten into, whichever way you want to think about it. That she knows exactly what she needs to get for the wedding album. So she's going around and just photographing the guys getting ready as much as I'm doing the girls. And details, guys, just because it's there. Don't go crazy. 2 or 3 just quintessential shots. So the bride here bought him a watch. There's the watch. The reason Sean here is crying, bless him, is not because of the watch. It's because the pendant of his nan that's inside his jacket. So this is where you got to find little things like this, and this is what's going to tug on the heartstrings when it comes to selling spreads. So we're back into the room, and again, I'm just telling the story. I'm just there. I'm shooting low. I'm shooting wide open. I'm just photographing everything as it goes through. Again, we're back to the groom. We're kind of telling the stories, everything that's going through. Karen's really good at doing stuff like this. She's small and she can get in the corner and no one can see her. She's there, so she disappears into the background like a little ninja, if you will. So just details. So double page spreads. We're leading the eye into the right hand side of the spread. This is a spread that I initially had the top left image in the center. I preferred it. I think it told more of a story. This is one of the spreads where the bride said, you know what, can we actually change it? I want to see my new wife to be in about 2 hours of the center spread, which is fine. As I said, it's her wedding album. It's her way of doing it. It's how she wants it. So this is an example of shooting for the product. So I knew, having been to this venue quite a lot, this was a set of images I wanted to take. So I thought I'll get down at the bottom of the stairs, I'll get Laura to walk down, and I'll crack off 3 or 4 shots, knowing that I'd only probably use 2 or 3. I used 3 in the end because I wanted to show the movement of her down the stairs and the hug on the right-hand side. I think it's one of my favourite reveal shots to Dad ever. People say, oh, it's just out the window, but it's not. It's just when you see the story of the spread unfold, and that's where we're playing on, guys. So this is. I'm just going to show you this is a complete wedding album. So I'm not going to. There's no bones here. There's no skeletons in the closet. This is as it left the showroom. A little bit out of order here, but I've put the shot of her and her dad walking towards the church in the centre to avoid the crease going down
either one of their faces in the car or of Laura stepping out of the car. So it's a little bit out of sync, but you know what? It works better for me. I'm not a big fan of putting the centre of the wedding album through the centre of anyone's face. So again, one shot, bang, one shot. The guy's walking up. You can take 4 or 5, but you ain't going to use one. So just take 2 or 3. Make sure they're sharp. That's all you're going to need for the wedding album. Bride walks in. So again, story, 4 shots on the spread. That's all we need. And it's just, again, you can almost be there. You can see the day unfold. The videographer got in the way, but I can't do anything about that. I can send it off for retouching, but he was a friend of the bride, so I felt a bit bad taking him out. So I asked her about it, and she said, "Oh no, keep him in." So I'm like, okay, that's fine. Again, her wedding album. I don't go crazy, guys, during the ceremony. I shoot 20 or 30 shots. That's it. Most of the time in a church, they've got their backs to you anyway, so there's no point taking 10 shots of the same thing. So take 1 or 2, get your exposure right, so when they turn in for the business end of the ceremony, to the rings and the kiss and the vows, your exposure's bang on, and you can fire off 10, 15 shots, and that's all you're going to need. Cheesy? Yes. Double page spread? Absolutely. Everyone laughed, rolled up in the church when they saw this, so it had to go in the book. I mean, it's not something I would probably put in anyway, but the reaction that it got in the church meant that it had to go in. There was no two ways about this, never getting into the spread. So I'm just going to rattle through. This is, again, just 2 or 3 shots outside the church, just using light, using location. It's another seminar, using light and location. It's not about that, it's about albums. And again, the vicar, it was her first ever wedding. So I thought, I've got to get you in the album. And it's like, you were her first. You were her genesis as far as weddings are concerned. She had to make the album. Walked into the venue again, thinking about spreads, thinking about everything. I can fill the spread up, but less is more, guys. Less is more. You're going to sell more spreads if you shoot in a certain way and create pieces of art I could have put another 2 images either side, but it wouldn't have had the same effect. It just wouldn't have had the same effect. Detail shots, natural shots. This is where we kind of go a little bit more, and we start filling up the spread, the books a little bit more with images, especially for speeches as well. They're great. We just crack off as many as we see fit here. These are great. These are amazing reaction speeches. Mum gave a speech. Dad gave a speech. The best man looked brilliant. Great reactions from the bride and the best man. It's awesome. Group shots. Yes, we still shoot groups. They had a big wedding, Irish side of the family. So there was an awful lot of group shots we did. But again, we picked one of the key people that were there to spread the group shots. That's what we offered in the album. They were more than happy with that. Little flower girl, she was adorable, man. She was adorable, and the bride really wanted a shot of under her veil, and the sun was starting to set. So we thought, right, let's make the most of this. And again, using the light and knowledge about how to, this is the way we do things, guys. This is the way we shoot weddings. If we went to the field, again, this was a double page spread. The minute I hit the shutter, there was no 2 ways about this being a double page spread. This image as well. In the double page spread, this is what we tell our couples when they come into the initial consultation. This image wouldn't look as effective as a tiny 4x6 in the bottom corner of a busy spread. You want wow images, we're going to have to put more images or more spreads into your album. Evening, Mum absolutely going crazy, top right there. She was loving it. That hat stayed on all day, God love her. That weren't coming off for no one. First dance, we take 15, 20 pictures. We get it done, and that's it. Logo in the bottom right-hand corner. That's the way we do things, guys. That's an album, and that was a 34 spread book. So they had 14 more spreads over. How do we price the 14 more spreads? This is going to be the best way of making profit by a mile. Graphic charge a couple of quid per spread. We charge £50 a page, so £100 a spread. And we give an extra between 5 and 10 spreads per wedding book. So do the maths, guys. It could be a potential another £1,000 just from selling spreads. Remember, spent money is forgotten money. That is key. Most brides kind of think, yeah, okay, we knew that when we came in. That's part of the deal. Some guys, you remember that film The Mask with Jim Carrey with their eyes just pop out their head? That does happen here sometimes. So, you know, what we try and do is we say, you know what, we had such a great time at the wedding. If you want to keep these spreads in, we will do you a deal. We will offer you a deal. And they're going to think, oh, God, yeah, we've got them half price on that. But I'm thinking, God, yeah, I've still made £500 on that. That's absolutely fantastic. They think it's a win. We know it's a win. So that way they're happy. The other alternative would be to say, they might come in and say, look, we just haven't got the extra budget for the spreads. And we say, you know what, it's absolutely fine. Again, Fundy's great. We just do a redesign, get everything into 20 spreads, and if they're happy with it, it goes to print. So again, you can't win them all. You just can't. Do we go through the album cover choice before and after the wedding? Personally, I get them in after. I get them in after purely because it's another chance to upsell. What I do is most couples will come in here and book on the smaller album. They'll literally pay for the smaller album. They'll come in with more spreads, and it's at that point I'll say, do you fancy having a bigger book? Because you never know, they might have had a financial gift from a friend or family or loved one, and they're thinking, oh, we've actually got a little bit of money left after we paid our bar bill, so we can actually have a bigger wedding album. So what we do is we do the pre-design, we get them in, we show them a slideshow. Generally, we try and put the first dance song over the slideshow, so they're brought right back into the wedding day. And from there, we have a bottle of wine or some Prosecco, or if I'm feeling really flush, I'll put some champagne out the fridge, and we're just sitting there and we're going through the wedding album and we're soft selling, and they're hooked. They're seeing these images for the first time as we intended them to look on a wedding spread. They've got 25 extra spreads in there, 15 extra spreads. They're going to want them all. They're just going to want them all. The reason we get them back in afterwards as well is purely because we, Graphic Studio are always bringing out new albums, and we might have something new that they haven't seen yet, and it gives us a chance to sell them that. Guys, that's my secret. There's no secret. It's just common sense to me. So shoot for the wedding album. Shoot for the product. Start thinking about spreads and taking your images. Use Fundy. Design more spreads than what you need, and they will generally buy them. And we, as a studio here, we went from an average turnover to being back registered within 6 months because we had no choice. We were doing so well in album upsells, we had no choice but to go back registered, which is a blessing and a curse in the same breath, but you can't do anything about progress. But it was the best decision we ever made, because we are now giving wedding albums that we are honoured and proud to lead this studio. Jay, that's pretty much it. We're bang on 8 o'clock, mate. How do I do?
Mate, you did brilliant. I mean, and we have, we're going to be a little bit over with the questions, mate, but I know you're happy to stick with us there. But
I'm happy. If you're happy, I'm happy.
Oh, I'm more than happy, pal. I mean, to be honest, there were some incredible insights there. Scott, the first question that I have to ask, and it would be a crime not to, really. I know we're going to be able to show this off in the next few weeks when we shoot some film with you. But how long does it basically take? So after you've sort of that you pre-design, how long does it take you with Fundy to put this album together?
15 minutes.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's amazing.
15 minutes, honestly. I mean, I was using other design companies beforehand. I used the Graphic Studio software, which is great. But if I can take an album and take you 15 minutes to design it, which means I can go to the pub earlier, it's a win-win for me. It's just I can get out, I can play my little game, I can put it to bed. I've got to spend hours and hours designing wedding books. I can do it in 10 minutes.
I think we've talked about it before. Obviously, we know we've got Ali online with us from Fundy, but obviously last month we had Mr. Fundy himself online with us, and taking us through the actual what we have available and the services that we have from them, and it is phenomenal. And when Mark found it, we found it, I think it was about 3 years ago when we discovered Fundy, and we just fell over ourselves. It's one of those things that just went, God, this is going to save.
It's the best business decision I have made in 12 years.
Absolutely. And I mean, I know, tonight we've been talking, obviously you're a wedding photographer, that's your business. From us, as much as that's why you're here tonight, we're talking about wedding albums, we're talking about you and your business and how it's changed, and you've given us these great insights. But guys, don't forget that it isn't just about wedding albums. From us as a portrait photography studio, albums are a massive feature in our portrait sales now, so equally as important. So it isn't just about weddings. Of course, Scott is a great wedding photographer, and that's
no, it's not. No, I do engagement shoots now. We do post-wedding shoots. We use Go books and Young books and the baby books for portraiture, and they're brilliant, and you can all do design in Fundy with just one click. You can do a wedding album in seconds. It's incredible.
Absolutely.
People, it's amazing.
Scott, I'm just going to rob the screen back, but we're going to get started on these questions, mate. So
no worries.
They're kind of I've done my best to try and keep them in order, but right at the beginning, and I guess we should get it out there straight again. Obviously, you talked about obviously this year, hopefully, will be you are going 100% album.
It is, yeah, 100% this year.
To be clarified, then the USB will not exist for you?
No, so they have the option to purchase the USB, and we will give low-res USBs for like Facebook and stuff if they want it, but we will not be offering an USB only coverage. We haven't done it for 18 months, and next year will be the first year we're 100% not doing that.
Brilliant, great. I just want to clarify that, but that's what I thought you meant, but it was a good job. I kept it there so we could just double check that, but perfect, pal, brilliant.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, this was a really nice question that came in, and obviously, you know that we're here, we use Loxley. Obviously, I know that you use Graphy. The question was a really good question, was about, you're talking about the sample albums. Of course, this could be something that could be quite expensive. Now, I know that Loxley do sample album discounts. I presume Graphy do as well, mate?
They do, yeah. So they always offer 30% on a sample. Then every now and again, if you're lucky, if you're a customer and you're in the trade area, they will offer half price sample books. Yeah. So keep an eye out for that. It's a really good way of getting a lot of books in. Absolutely,
because obviously it could be an expensive thing, but it is such an important tool in the business.
As I said, you've got to keep your sample albums looking fresh because it reflects you as a company. If you're trying to sell damaged books, people are going to think, oh, these aren't going to last very long. You've got to have immaculate books, immaculate sample albums. That's the genesis for the whole talk is showing beautiful wedding books that people are going to want to buy and spend money on.
Yeah. So here with our wedding sample albums, and this was one of the questions that came up, so we wanted to ask you it. Would your sample albums typically be an entire wedding, or would it be a mixed up from different weddings?
It would be an entire wedding. What we don't want to get into the trap of is only showing wow shots from 10 different weddings. You want to be showing couples that you're consistent all the way through the wedding. So I show one wedding per wedding album. Yeah,
same here. It is exactly the same here with ours. Absolutely, mate. Brilliant. Just wanted to touch on this because you mentioned obviously about the Graphy offering the quality for life, the forever.
Yes.
Somebody just picked up, obviously, because we do have some American audience. By all accounts, forever in America is a bit of a term that you can't use in a court of law.
Well, yeah.
Something like that.
Yes.
Quality. So just wanted to touch on that because obviously we're over here, we refer to it as forever or a lifetime guarantee or whatever it is. So just obviously for our friends across the pond there, just be.
From my knowledge of what I've done, I think they offer a lifetime guarantee. So lifetime could be the I guess,
Yeah, I think it was just the point was the word forever, I think, and I think that's all we just had to be.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, that's fair enough.
So back with obviously you went through. We had an insight there into the workflow. Can I just double check this? So you mentioned quite early on about Zenfolio. Are the couple just seeing the proof album as the first time they see their images?
No, so what we do is we upload everything to Zenfolio, completely high res. So we use it as a form of off-site storage. So should the worst happen here, we can go onto Zenfolio anywhere in the world and get the images off. So we use it mainly for that. But then they're seeing the images, but then the first time they'll see their wedding spread layout is when they come back into the showroom here. We book that in on the pre-wedding meetings because it's really hard to try and nail them down for a date after the wedding. So when they come in and go through the final time what time the speeches are going to start, we say, right, in a month's time, we'll get you coming on a Friday afternoon and then we'll show you wedding album. Yep, that's great. So they know already when they're going to be coming in to see their wedding album.
Perfect. Brilliant. This was quite a good question, and we've had this a few times in our own experiences when we've been talking about weddings. We do get the odd couple or the wedding couples that don't want to spend hours being photographed on their day. This is, I presume, if you're like us, we discussed this up front. Are you working out a sort of plan of the shoot? I know obviously you've obviously got your plan.
Yeah.
Do you allocate say bride and groom time during the day? How do you?
Yeah. So I try and do it in blocks of 20 minutes. So once it's all said and done, we say, right, we're going to get you for 20 minutes to photograph you and your husband, or you and your wife. And then we'll let you have 20 minutes of rest, so half an hour, just to chat and talk, get some canapes, get a drink inside you. Then we'll work out a time which they're being called for dinner, then work backwards from that. So, right, I'm going to need 15 minutes for group shots, and then we'll crack the group shots out in 15 minutes. And then in the summer weddings, I'll say to the bride, look, it's a gorgeous, lights going down, lovely, the sunset's incredible. Do you want to have another go, 20 minutes, half an hour? Generally, they'll say yes because they're hot, they've been in a marquee, or some fresh air, and they'll come out for some more photographs. So that's generally why we try and do things in 20-minute blocks.
Perfect, brilliant. Yeah, same as us, mate. Fantastic. What if the newly? Let me just make sure I'm up to speed. What if the newly has asked to see the images? Okay, so I think this is what you said. Are they only ever seeing your pre-design? Correct me if you've already answered this, and I apologize if you did. So, because I got confused with the whole Zenfolio thing, because you talked about 600 to 800 images. Are they ever seeing all of those images, or are they just seeing your pre-design?
So we upload everything we take. So once we've gone through the culling procedure where we get rid of blinks and they've looked away and I've made a mistake, rare as it is, we do make mistakes.
Yeah.
We get rid of those. So the finished proofs, like the old days of proofs, we put up 600-800 images. They are going up to Zenfolio, and it's from that. They'll get all of those on a USB low res. That's absolutely fine. But then then it's down to me to pick the ones for the album and show them the pre-design from there.
Perfect.
Of the story.
Brilliant. I'm on the same page now. I got there in the end, mate. I did.
No worries.
Okay, so that's that question. I've just deleted it. Okay. This is a really good question, actually. On exactly the same note then, so how often now do you experience with the whole pre-design process where you're having to make changes, or as a whole, as an average, are they pretty, your album's pretty much good to go?
They're pretty much good to go. Obviously, there'll be one where the bride goes, oh my God, that's terrible in that, get rid of that. Obviously, what we look as photographers is very different to what a bride might look. But then again, we're kind of good at knowing the ones that that we're going to want. So I would say 80% kind of go out untouched. 10% will have a few minor changes, and 10% will do not a redesign, but we'll have another crack at getting it more to what the bride and groom are having their mind's eye. Because again, my view is sometimes different to what they want, and as I said, it's their wedding goes, it's their wedding, and they've got to be happy with the end product.
Well, I think the pre-design thing is actually been a massive game changer, and it has changed the whole sort of wedding industry. The people who've embraced it, it's really made a we do it here. We're not shooting as many weddings as you are, but we still do it here, and it's just changed. And again, with the beauty of Fundy, it's made the whole process so streamlined. It's just phenomenal, really. And just,
I'm sitting here now, and I've got 7. I had a very busy September. I've got 7 weddings to pre-design, and they'll all be done tomorrow.
Yeah.
They'll all be done tomorrow.
Brilliant.
Probably before lunch.
Excellent. So this is a good point. Obviously, in sales strategies that we've talked about in the past, at any point though, are you before the pre-design saying choose their favourites, or do you want to know their favourites?
No, not at all. I'm doing it exactly the way that obviously. If there's a couple that say that we love this one, then I'll put it in. Of course I will. But the pre-design is that I'm picking the ones that go into the pre-design.
This was quite a nice one, and I just wanted to get your reasoning on it. Why only landscape albums? Because you said you've changed to only offering landscape albums.
Yes, we as human beings, we see things in panoramic. So when we see a double post spread in a landscape album, we can relate to being there more than we can for an upright album.
Perfect.
And that's why I do it. So when you see a double page spread on a 40 by 30 graphy book with the new HD paper in it, you're like, oh my God, and you can put yourself there, and then like, this is incredible. And I just found my pictures as my style of photography suits a landscape album more, which is why I just changed and went back to landscape books.
Brilliant. So, to be honest, I think we're getting through most of the questions. We've got some loads of already positive feedback straight away, so we'll get to that in a sec. But
awesome.
I'm just quickly scanning to make sure I haven't missed anything. So look, Can we see the design in action? Yes, that's exactly what. If you missed the beginning, we're lucky to have Scott coming down to us the week after next to actually film the design process with the real live wedding that we got to shoot with him earlier this year. So it's going to be a great way to finish that film off. So yes, guys, we are filming that the week after next, and we'll do our best to try and get that out before Christmas. I think that's the plan. So we'll do our best to get that to you as soon as possible. But yes, we'll be showing you that very, very soon, the design process. But if you haven't seen it already, no disrespect to you, Scott, we have already done similar workflow pros films on the Photographer Academy. Marcus.
That's why I didn't want to go too crazy tonight. I knew Andy touched it last week about it, so I don't want to go too into the design at this stage. I want to talk more about spreads.
But I think the other great thing that we can do, Scott, and I'm sure Ali will be thrilled for me to say this, is that, even though we're going to film this, next week when you're with us, and obviously we'll have it available as a film, I'm more than happy to bring you back in a month or just after Christmas, and we'll do it live. If you're up for it, we can do it live.
I'm more than happy. I mean, I can go through anything that people want to go through. I mean, I was chatting with Kevin Wilson tonight about an hour before I came on. He was stuck. He rang me up. I was like, oh yeah, just do this, that, and the other, and the problem was fixed. So I don't know the software as well as the guys in the US, but I use it every day. So I can bash it out about it.
No, we'll make that happen, because we do so much of it live here. It makes sense, and we can do it live with your Q&As then as well, guys. So we'll give you plenty of notice on that, and we'll either do it just before Christmas or early in the new year, so you guys can get familiar with Fundy, and then you can be ready for that. And then obviously we've got Scott and have the likes of Ali on hand with us as well to answer all your questions there. But yeah, we can show you the pattern. It's easy for us to say that we can do it in 20 minutes, but we can, we can, and let's show you that how easy and how great a product it really is. Fantastic, brilliant. So we've answered that one, brilliant. Right, my question panel just went to the wrong way. My fault. Let's go back to the top. Right, we're going to do that one. Yes, we've done that. What's your best-selling album? Do you have a best-selling album?
I do, yeah. I reckon here we do 95% of young books that Graphy offer, and of the 95% young books, about 80% of those are the 35 or 25 size, so the middle-sized young book that Graphy offer. That is by far and away, that is the best thing that's ever happened to the photography, is the young book coming out.
Brilliant. So I'm just working through. I'm just making sure I haven't missed anything. Can I ask why you show them all 600 on Zenfolio if you are designing an album? If so, people can order prints? ?
Exactly right. So we offer a reprint service via Zenfolio, so people can purchase prints, and we print up to 18 by 12, I think, on Zen. Anything bigger, then they have to come into us, because obviously we have to do some resizing on the files for that. But yeah, and also people know that we're taking photographs all day, so people are going to, the shot of Auntie June and her great nephew might not make the wedding album, but she's going to want to see that print that we took, which is the reason why we put everything up onto Zenfolio.
Perfect, brilliant. Where am I? Brilliant. I'm just reading all this praise about you, but Scott, and I'm just trying to sift out the real questions. We'll do all the praise in a minute, mate.
Tell me the praise, man. Tell me the praise. It's good.
In a minute, you can have it in a minute. Okay, I think we're getting there, though, mate. We're getting there. I think this is the last. Let me just double check. Oh, that was a good question, because obviously we showed you off in a gondola earlier, which I believe was a real gondola, really, really abroad.
It was a real gondola, yeah.
With regards, though, to I presume it happens. I presume this was a case where was it a British couple that went out? They decided to get married abroad, or was it an Italian couple and you were flown out to do it?
No, it was a British couple that we took out to Venice. If you come onto my Facebook page, I put a teaser shot from that shoot up about an hour and a half ago, and we're going to vlog that pre-shoot next week. So it's exciting time to show those images off. I had the Fujifilm GFX for that, which was an amazing piece of kit to shoot with. So I'm really excited to show those pictures off.
Brilliant. So actually, the question though was, how do you approach the sales process then? If if the couple were abroad, if you've been booked to shoot, somebody across the pond, then, for example.
Sorry, you cut out. Say that again. Sorry, Joe.
So, do you ever get booked by people from across outside of the UK? So, you ever shooting?
Yes.
Yeah. So, how do you approach the sales process when you're not in the same country?
So we approach it the same way. So we would literally, again, tell them that I've done Facebook, I've shot in America, all across Europe, and it's the same process. So literally, we'll pre-design your book for you, and you're going to get a piece of art that's going to last, for many, many, many years. And we're really passionate about doing that. And we educate every couple right from the word go that we'll be doing the pre-design, no matter if you live in the UK or we're going to photograph you off in the States. That's the way that we do things here at the Edge.
Brilliant. Somebody just missed, because obviously we have, I know we apologise for obviously the sound not being great at the end here. What was your favourite album again, pal? Sorry.
It's the my personal favourite is the 3525 Young Book that Graphie offer, and I've just ordered my sample with the video screen. And this is important. What I'm going to be doing is the video which I'm going to put on the Facebook from the factory at Graphie Studio. That with the video I put into the video Young Book, so people can see in the book how that book has been made. So again, you kind of tying it all in together and creating the story and the handmade process of these beautiful wedding albums.
Brilliant. And guys, if you do have any trouble finding obviously Scott's Facebook group, just personal message you, right? Just direct message you or comment on your Facebook page and you'll point them in the right direction.
Yeah. I'm a friendly guy. I don't bite. Come and say hello.
Scott, that is all the questions done. But there is, I'm not going to go through them all, mate, but everybody thanked you, thrilled for the insight tonight. Brilliant insight. And again, from me to you. I mean, what I just quickly want to say, and it was really, really key. I'm not a wedding photographer, you know that. I'm a keen photographer, I'm a good photographer, but I'm not a wedding photographer. But what was important for me, you were talking about obviously the power of print, album design. Obviously, I talked about portraiture and things like that. For me, I'm a keen traveler. I love to record my travels. About a year ago, I got off my backside and I took my travels from the last 5 or 6 years, and it took me the best part of a couple of weeks, but I turned them into photo books. And it was the best thing I ever did, because they were just sat on a hard drive, on sticks. I wasn't looking at them. They're on my bookshelf. They're beautiful pieces of art, but they're exactly what you said. They're my memories. And I know we're doing it for the wedding photographers, but I sat there and I remembered, 10 years ago, my first time I went to Vegas, and I remembered it, and it was 10 years ago. I'd forgotten it all, and it's amazing how it comes back. And you're so right. One of my prized possessions is a photograph that I have of my grandmother, obviously not with us anymore. And without that, and it's in a frame, it's on my shelf, and I see it every morning, and it makes a difference, man. It does, and I'm so thrilled that the print and the book is back. It really is.
Would you run into a burning building, save a USB that you can't find, it's in the crap drawer somewhere? The answer is no, you wouldn't. No. Would you run into a burning building to save the wedding album? Yes, of course you would. If you knew where it was, I can see exactly where my wedding album is. I'd get the kids out, the dog, wedding album, then the hard drive, probably. That's the way we do it. And it's just, it's so important to get things printed, guys. So important.
It is. And then when you have the likes of Fundy that make your albums even quicker to do, thank you, Ali, if you're still there, I think you are, thank you, that makes a massive difference as well. Because then I don't have to fret over the images anymore and go, they're my favourites. No. And then, I can tweak. It's absolutely brilliant. Somebody's asking, Ali's just posted it. What's Scott's URL? So it's the edgephotography.co.uk. The links are in the chat panel. And remember, guys, all of the links for tonight, anything to do with the Photographer Academy, Fundy, and I've Scott, you'll be getting in a follow-up email from us tomorrow anyway, with all the relevant links there. Scott, thank you, mate. Ali, if you're still with us, I think, you might be live. Are you there, Ali? Hello?
I'm here. I'm here. Just wanted to say hi and thank you to everyone.
Oh, brilliant. Well, thanks for, you were thick and fast with you answered all the questions before I even got to them, which is absolutely brilliant. So great to have you. And of course, we have got you online with us, Ali. If anybody wants to get in touch with you about Fundy questions or queries, obviously just get in touch with you directly via your Facebook or your contact forms on there. And obviously we've got that great offer for them on that. Ali, what did you think about us doing some live sessions with Scott? I bet you think that's a good idea, right?
Oh, absolutely. I was just thinking we need to do a part 2 for this.
Absolutely.
This was a great introduction. I thought it was
Scott Johnson, the return.
Give us more.
Absolutely. No, I'm up for it. It's brilliant. Obviously it's great when we have somebody. I could do it, but I'm not going to be anywhere near as good as Scott. So let's get Scott to show us how to do it. And the way
I'm more than happy to do that, guys.
Brilliant. Well, we'll just obviously, like I said, we've got the two of you with us. We've got the two of you with us in a couple of weeks. It's great. We'll plan that. But yeah, we've got time now. We might even be able to try and squeeze it in before Christmas. But if not, we'll make sure it happens early in the new year. Without a doubt.
Awesome.
Great that we're going to have Scott down in a few weeks to film it all for you as well, guys. That is it for tonight. So really, really appreciate you being with us. So thank you.